My next guest is coming off a big win this past weekend in the main event of UFC Vegas 60, getting it done by doctor stoppage over Song Yadong on September 17th. It is Cory Sandhagen back here on the program. Cory, how are you, man?
I'm good, James. How you doing?
Doing awesome. Again, big win there in the main event. Where do you rank this performance? I know you said you weren't that happy with it after the fact, but looking back now, where do you sort of rate this performance in your career?
I think I'm happy with it. I just know that it wasn't really like at the top of my performances. I don't really know where to rank it. I know that it just felt like a little bit of an off night that night, and but also like all the credit to Song for probably being a huge part of that. Also, so I'll give credit where credit's due. He fought a really awesome fight, and yeah, I think that not every performance can be the most amazing performance in the world, but I did my best and I was able to get a win on the night, and that's kind of what matters. So that's what I did.
Now, Cory, as you know, I'm Canadian, and so I'm always glass half full, very positive guy. I mean, I think it was a great performance, and I think it was cool that we got to see you, go 4 rounds and show off some different stuff. I know the quick highlight reel knee finish would have been great, but do you at least take that positive out of it, that we got to see more cage time out of you?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. I think that like the two things that I really wanted to get better at in this time off was how to deal with someone that's just going to have a really good guard and stand in front of you. And Song did that a lot more than what I expected. But the two things that, we decided to add in after the Yan fight was like good clinching, elbows when guys stay guarded, and then mixing in takedowns. And I think that the elbows and the mixing in the takedowns is what was winning me the fight and was putting me on the path to winning the fight. And yeah, so I got to be really happy and proud about that.
Two-part question here. First part, have you had a chance to watch the fight? And if you have, do you feel that the fight should have been stopped? Because I know at the time you were like, you wanted to continue, but that cut was pretty gruesome.
Yeah, I think I was just being a little dramatic because I just had to like pump myself up to do that fifth round.
Yeah.
So I was ready to do the fifth. I was excited. I felt like the fight was starting to go in the direction that I had foresaw it before.
Mhm.
Like the two first rounds were rough. Like he clocked me pretty good. They were close. We both were doing damage to each other. But I knew that like it was a close fight, and then I knew that I was starting to pick up some steam, and I kind of just wanted round five just so I could actually like really fully prove that I was better, because that's kind of what these things are to me. So I wanted that opportunity, and I feel like I was on my way to making that opportunity. But yeah, I was excited about it, man. But yeah, that's kind of what the reaction was from, is just because in that moment I was just very hyped up and ready to do the fifth round.
And it's a good thing there was a finish too, because I don't know if you saw the judges' scorecards. I think two of them had it tied going into the fourth. Or fifth. How surprised were you by that?
Um, I don't know what these things look like from the outside. Like I know that when I get hit, I kind of look like one of those balloons that like sways in the wind.
Yeah.
I think that's part of my not getting knocked out though, because like if I can be something that moves and gets hit at the same time, I feel like I take a lot less of the impact.
Mhm.
Um, but I do know that like those sometimes look like they're scoring a lot harder than they do when really they're not.
Mhm.
Um, so I never really know how the judges score these things, like especially in just like such a stylistically two different people, like Song being the power hitter, me being like the more technical, sniper, sharpshooter guy. You never know who's behind the judging scorecard and what they rank higher than the other one. So I wasn't super surprised, honestly. I knew that it was a close fight, but I definitely feel like round three and four, which I did, I did watch the fight. Round three and four were starting to go my way, and I foresee that the fifth was going to go that way too. I felt like I was finally getting like my mojo in that fight uh, towards the end of it.
How much of a benefit was it having Ryan Hall in your corner?
Uh, he didn't get to do too much because I didn't get too many takedowns, but
Mhm.
having Ryan in my corner just in training and teaching me in general has changed my fighting a lot. Um, and then yeah, having Ryan around all week. Ryan's a good friend of mine now, so just another like friendly face. It for me to have someone as a coach or have someone as like a corner, I really have to care about them and really have to love them. And Ryan's that person in my life now. So or one of those people in my life. So yeah, I'm grateful that he was able to do so.
I've been asked this question. I actually can't remember the answer. I was going to ask you in this interview. How did you and Ryan end up becoming friends? How did you end up training together? What was the connection? I was trying to remember that.
I was always just a really big fan of Ryan, and I knew that he was on the quieter end. And so, about like 3 years ago or so, I kind of just messaged him on Instagram and asked if I could go out there and train with him because at the time leg locks were becoming like more and more popular in jiu-jitsu, but then like trickling into MMA, and I knew that it was going to be a big thing in MMA too. So I wanted to learn from the guy who pretty much invented the things, and then also um, like does it in a MMA scenario and not a jiu-jitsu scenario, because a lot of the leg locky type stuff are like really tailored towards jiu-jitsu rules. So yeah, so that's why I was doing that, and it was a smart move on my end because Ryan's, helped me a ton.
So we talked about there, the fight stopped. I know you're getting pumped for the 5th round, but then they announce you the winner. You won by stoppage. Is there a weight lifted off your shoulders? I know you approach every fight sort of the same, but I know you had 2 losses. Maybe one of them shouldn't have gone that way, but how did you feel after the fight?
Um, yeah, I was happy. I don't know that I necessarily really felt like there was a weight off my shoulders. For me, it's like about the performance, man. Like
Mhm.
even if I would have lost and like performed my ass off,
Mhm.
uh, which isn't what I was doing, but say I was, I would go home like still upset, but not incredibly upset. So, a little bit of a weight was lifted off the shoulder just because I kept thinking in my head, I was like, man, losing 3 times in a row would really, really be a bummer. So, yeah, and losing fights is way worse than, or like the feeling of losing is way worse than the feeling of winning, or I don't really know how to say this, but I enjoy not losing more than I enjoy winning.
Right.
So, yeah, um, yeah, really happy that I won.
No, I get it. And then obviously after the fight, it seems like there's 2 opponents. There's Merab, Chito. Obviously, I think most would agree, and you sort of said it yourself. Chito would be the more interesting fight just because of the style matchup and all that. Chito did have a quote. He responded to you. I don't know if you heard this. It wasn't anything out of line, and I'm not going to attempt to do a Chito Vera impression, but he says, well, if he wants it, he can get it. I'm not shying away from any fight. I'm a fighter. I fight anybody. I want to be a world champion. If I want to get there and get this belt, I don't run away from no one. You got to be feeling confident. I mean, the UFC's matchmaking job seems like it's already done.
Yeah, it seems like it, but you never really know how these things happen. I don't really, I was unaware that Cheeto was even in a conversation to be fighting for the title if things go a certain way in October. So that to me kind of like blew me away, especially because I also think Cheeto really hasn't fought the competition that I've been fighting in the last couple of years. And I mean, not to be like, the guy that feels like he's making a bunch of excuses, but the TJ loss, super close. I took a short notice title fight, and then I just came back, fought down in the rankings. I think that the UFC should kind of like hook me up with the opponent that I think that I'm asking for, especially because I did get left out in that last, matchmaking session that happened a couple months ago. So I would hope that they do me and Cheeto. I think that will be like a really easily sellable fight. It's definitely could be a main event, and I think that that's what the UFC should do, because that's just, or I guess wait till see what happens in October and then somewhere like fit in Marab, because I don't know, but yeah, I think Cheeto is like a good fight for the next one.
And you said Christmas time around there, like December, I think is when you want to fight next. Maybe fight night main event. Would that be sort of ideal?
Yeah, definitely. I actually looked at some of the cards, and I don't know that they'll have any main event slots still available then. But yeah, December, January, sometime soon. Like I definitely don't want to ride the pine for another like 6 or 7 months. So yeah, sometime soon.
I think big fights, they should make it 5 rounds, even if it's not the main event. Like Marvin Vettori and Whitaker, we had that a few weeks ago. That should have been 5 rounds, don't you think?
Yeah, I think that that's a great idea. I don't see why not, other than just like a logistical rule, but like forget the rules, like if it's better to be a 5 round fight, then yeah, let however many fights on the card be 5 rounders.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Style wise, how would a fight with you and Chito Vera go? Just looking at it from a style perspective.
Um, I think stylistically, I'll be definitely the quicker, more athletic guy. Cheeto's biggest threat going into fights is he must have really good timing and he must hit with some serious power. Outside that, I don't think Cheeto's like a very dangerous guy. I think he's definitely a striker. He has like decent submission, not very good takedown. And I think that the biggest like thing is just his ability to like land something that is weird, especially in the last couple of fights. Not weird, but like a little bit surprising. He's good at landing those types of things, and those guys are definitely tough to fight. But it seems one dimensional.
Yeah. Okay. Fair assessment there. And we talked about this last time. You're just on like one fight deals, right? Like there's nothing like in a row, or how does that work with your contract? I was trying to remember that.
No, I'm on a 6-fight deal.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but my last one was the first one on the 6-fight deal, even though I got the deal like a couple
of fights ago. I see. So they just sort of came after. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering. Jose Aldo retiring. Your reaction to that?
Yeah, I love Jose Aldo. It's got to be a weird feeling retiring and then not having something to kind of wake up for and get yourself going for every morning. But Aldo was the king, man. Aldo was the king, and I hope him a happy retirement. He helped me a lot in my development. I think he kind of like taught people how to act in the sport. I think that he was a good example for a lot of people, and I can't speak higher of anyone else than Aldo because he was not only really good, but he conducted himself in like the most professional, best, most inspiring way for me. And yeah, so thank you.
Disappointed you never got to fight him?
A little bit, but also that would be weird because Aldo is like deep in my heart. Like deep. I've been watching that guy for years and years and years. Like he is super deep, and it's like a loving like gratefulness that I have for Aldo, so that would have definitely been weird, but it also would have been pretty awesome to fight him.
You think they should have done Dominick Cruz and Jose Aldo? I'm surprised they didn't make that fight as like his send-off, not the Merab fight.
Yeah, that would be an awesome fight, especially like with the way that things played out in the last couple months. That would be a really awesome fight, but who knows what's going on? Maybe Aldo's just he wanted to take one last run, and that was his goal, and so.
Take me through some of your recovery after the fight. I know you mentioned yesterday, and obviously this happens after every fight, you have some bumps and bruises, but I saw you doing the red light therapy. I don't know if you do cold baths. Like, what does your recovery look like post-fight? I was curious about that.
Yeah, I do a lot of cold showers and a lot of cold tubs. Like all week, I'll do those. And then I'll do that red light thing at this place, Rock Solid Physical Therapy down in Castle Rock. And then I'll walk or ride my bike a lot, just to get my blood flowing. There's one other. And then I'll go see a woman who does like a lymphatic flush on me. So I got that done yesterday.
What's involved with that?
She just kind of like massages your lymphs.
Cool. Okay.
Lymphs, yeah, and she just like flushes out a lot of the swelling and just like crap that's stuck inside you. So yeah, I had that done yesterday, and I actually feel really, really great today. So yeah, I'll probably do one more of those hopefully this week if she has any more cancellations, and then just keep sitting in the cold tub. But yeah, I try to get back to normal right away so that I'm not all, fat and lazy and not feeling good for too long.
I'm sure you've been doing the cold baths and stuff like since you've like started fighting, I would think. But do you do them like in general, like even when you're not like with a fight coming up, or is it just during camp?
Yeah, I will. I kind of do them a little bit more when I feel like I need them.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I do them on a certain day or a certain time. But yeah, those things help a lot. I don't know everyone has their different opinions about the science of the cold tub or whatever, but I pretty much sit in there as long as I can until I'm like shivering like really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like cold for the next 2 hours of my life, but I feel really good the next day. So that's cold tubs is I just like sitting in there and just marinating in that thing until I'm like really shivering cold.
So I can't afford a cold tub because those things are pricey, and I don't like and it would be a pain in the butt to buy ice all the time. So I do the cold showers. I've been doing it every morning since the beginning of the year. I love it. I haven't gotten sick. And I like the mental side of it where it's like you get something really hard done at the beginning of your day and it like makes your day easier. But I only do 3 minutes because that's what they say. It takes about 3 minutes to get your body used to it. Because usually when I'm getting out of the shower, I'm usually like my body's used to the water. It doesn't get that burning feeling. I don't know how you do your, well, you said you do yours until you're shivering. I don't think I could do that.
Not in the shower. In the shower, I'll do like I don't time them or anything, but I do it until like I feel like it's working,
Yeah.
or it's done its job. But yeah, anytime anyone in my house gets sick, I'm taking cold showers like every single morning like that. Also, I think it does help a lot with sickness and illness.
Yeah, no, I think so. And then the red light thing, I looked into that. See, I wanted to, I was like, maybe I'll get one. They're like $1,000. So you got to go like you do to somewhere good. But I heard it's good for, what is it, your circadian rhythm? What does it help with? And it's inflammation as well, right?
I honestly, I have no idea what it's good for, other than the PT that I really trust tells me that it's really good for me, and then so I just listen to people that are like professionals if I trust them. So yeah, I don't really know what it does, but he's really high on them, and usually he's not like super salesman-y about things, but he was really high on this thing, so I did it.
And you and Ariel were talking about the milk thing, about because you have what, organic? You don't have the oat milk. You have just the regular milk, right? If I'm understanding you.
Yeah, regular whole milk. Yeah,
So
you.
so I just recently got into, I've been kind of going on this animal based thing the last like month and a bit, and so we can't get, I think it's it's unpasteurized raw milk. We can't get that here. The closest thing I can get is grass fed milk, and I do find it helps. I think it's good. It fills you up. There's a lot of nutrients in that. But what are your thoughts on that? Because I've heard like that's the best, is like raw milk that's grass fed, that's also unpasteurized, that's kefir. I heard that's the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really. I just buy whatever's like, I don't buy like the most expensive thing or
Yeah.
like the cheap thing. I
You
usually
find
just,
one in the middle. Yeah. No, I understand that. Cause like I've done a lot of reading on like almond milk and oat milk and all that stuff. And there's like really not a lot of benefits. Like you don't get as many nutrients as you would in regular milk, right? That's the whole
yeah,
thing.
I feel like it's just tasty water with like a thicker
Yeah.
texture. That's like what oat milk and almond milk are. And I do drink a lot of almond milk, but I don't drink almond milk because I enjoy it. I just do it because it's super low in calories, and that's like
Yeah.
what I can have in camp and stuff. But no, if I get the option, man, like yeah, I would rather like a grass fed, like, and all of those milks, and they last a lot longer too. Those
Yeah.
milks.
Yeah. No. Well, we can't get it in Canada, that raw, unpasteurized, for whatever they've like banned it. I don't know why. So the closest I can get is the grass fed one, which is interesting. And I was just curious, like one more thing, just because I find this stuff fascinating. What is your diet like? Like how do you normally eat like during camp? Is it different than outside of camp? What do you normally eat?
I try to keep it pretty much the same, but at night, if I want to eat like some desserts, I'll eat some desserts when I'm out of camp.
Mhm.
Um, but for the most part, like during the day, it's like a healthy breakfast and then like a healthy lunch, a couple of
So
healthy.
what does a healthy breakfast look like for you? I'm curious.
I had like a big piece of sausage today with 2 eggs,
Okay.
and then like a bunch of cherries. That's like what I had for breakfast today. Um, and then I had like a perfect bar as like a snack, and then I'm gonna have lunch after this, and so it's pretty healthy all the way up until like 8 or 9 o'clock, and then like depending on how I'm feeling, then it'll just be like an entire bag of Reese's Pieces or something like that.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So basically, you try and eat like non-processed. Doesn't sound like a lot of wheat or anything. Just mainly like healthy, real food, right? Like fruit and like vegetables and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Like anything that comes in a package to me probably isn't that great, you know?
It's the ingredients too that you mentioned the protein bars. Like that's something I have to look at too. Like look at what the ingredients is on there, and guaranteed you'll find some seed oil, and a lot of that's not good for you, right? So
Yeah, that, and I think that like the more ingredients you have, the harder it is on your digestive
oh, big
system.
time. Yeah.
Like feeling good is like making sure that your digestive system isn't having to like go through too much problems. So yeah, I try to eat like not too many ingredients.
Makes sense. Okay, last question. Any hikes planned? I know you can finally do more of that now because you're not in camp. Got anything on the horizon? No pun intended.
I think I'm gonna go this week to somewhere, but I don't know where. I think I'm not gonna be ambitious and try to do a 14er. I think I'm gonna do maybe one of the tougher 13ers, which is still gonna be tough. But uh, I got like some swelling in my feet, so the second the swelling comes out of my feet, then I'm gonna definitely hit the mountains. But it's supposed to be nice here for another like week or so. So hopefully in the next couple of days.
And you do these by yourself, right? Or do you go with your fiance? Like who do you go with?
On like these long hikes, man, you got to be really careful who you choose as a partner because you're stuck with the person for like 5, 6 hours,
Yeah.
and if you the night before you're camping with the person, so Besides like a couple of people, I pretty much just go by myself unless like those couple of people are available.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, Cory, thanks for doing this, man. I told you to give something a little bit different this interview. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
No, I guess thanks for watching my fight. I hope that I really appreciate it because it was on ESPN Plus, and you kind of had to maybe go a little bit out of your way to watch it. So I appreciate it if you watched it.